Some of pop and rock's greatest stories have nothing to do with hit records. They are about the friendships that survived fame, failure, and everything in between. Here are 10 unforgettable moments when stars reconnected with old friends from their past. Hit subscribe so you never miss one. Number 10. The Mickey Mouse Club Reunion. It was 1993 when Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, and Ryan Gosling all joined the all-new Mickey Mouse Club on the Disney Channel. The future superstars shared dressing rooms, rehearsals, and after-hours time in Orlando, Florida. Gosling became so close with Timberlake that Timberlake's mother became his legal guardian for 6 months when Gosling's own mother returned to Canada. Behind the scenes, Britney and Justin's connection turned romantic. In her memoir, Spears recalled their first kiss happening during a round of Truth or Dare at a cast sleepover. Timberlake went on to massive fame with NSYNC, whose 2000 album No Strings Attached sold over 11 million copies in the United States alone. Aguilera sold over 50 million albums worldwide, and Gosling earned 2 Oscar nominations. One soundstage in Orlando quietly assembled a generation of superstars. Number 9. Demi Lovato and Selena Gomez. Two young girls on Barney and Friends in 2002. That is where one of pop music's most emotional friendships began. Demi later explained, "Selena and I had a friendship prior to Disney Channel because we were actually on Barney together." Both girls went on to become massive solo stars, with Gomez starring in Wizards of Waverly Place and Lovato headlining Sunny with a Chance. Something fractured between them around 2010, and when Lovato was asked about Gomez while signing autographs, she responded bluntly, "Ask Taylor." In 2011, Lovato entered rehab. While she was in treatment, Gomez reached out, worried about her old friend. Their public reunion years later, appearing together in the first shared photograph since 2017, tugged at the heartstrings of an entire generation raised on their intertwined stories.
Man, that's
good times. It's gotten through like rough times with us.
Hey guys.
Number 8. Iggy Pop and David Bowie. They met in 1971. And Bowie later helped reshape one of the most important chapters of pop's life. By 1974, their drug use had taken a serious toll. After the Stooges fell apart for the second time, Pop checked himself into the UCLA Neuropsychiatric Institute in 1975. Most people in the industry walked away. Bowie did the opposite. Pop later told the New York Times, "This guy salvaged me from certain professional and maybe personal annihilation. Simple as that." The two traveled to West Berlin in late 1976, determined to get clean and reinvent themselves. Bowie produced The Idiot and Lust for Life, Pop's first 2 solo albums, while the pair shared a flat together. Bowie then joined Pop on the road, playing keyboards on the Idiot Tour, one of rock's most unusual and devoted acts of friendship. When Bowie passed in January 2016, Pop wrote simply, "David's friendship was the light of my life. I never met such a brilliant person."
He suggested basically 2 things, getting out of LA and making an album together.
Number 7. Live.
Since the circle, it's a glory out too high.
A near 20-year run of impressive success, peaking with the 1994 album Throwing Copper, Lightning Crashes, Selling the Drama, I Alone. What made the eventual breakup so devastating was that the 4 members of Live were childhood friends who had been playing music together since their junior high school days in York, Pennsylvania. Singer Ed Kowalczyk and guitarist Chad Taylor's bond extended even further. They had known each other since childhood, learning to play guitar together before either had any notion of a professional career. Then came a bitter internal dispute around 2009 over royalties and creative credits. Lawsuits followed. Years of silence between men who had known each other since they were kids. The reunion began quietly. Kowalczyk later recalled, "It was just Chad and I having a beer together in our hometown. Time had gone by. The air kind of cleared." Number 6. Elton John and Mark Bolan.
All you want, fool. the children of the revolution.
Before either man became a household name, a young Reg Dwight and Mark Bolan found each other on the London music scene. Bolan had already begun reshaping British pop with glam rock's earliest blueprints by 1970. Elton was still finding his footing, and Bolan became a guiding light. Elton later recalled that Bolan seemed like he had come from another planet, crediting him as a great mentor during that formative era. Their shared love of spectacle and larger-than-life performance forged a bond that influenced an entire genre. They celebrated each other's hits and performed together on television, most memorably on the Mark TV show in 1977, helping push glam rock to its cultural peak. Tragically, Bolan died in a car crash in September 1977 at just 29 years old. Elton never forgot. He still credits Bolan with helping him understand that rock and roll was about vision as much as music. Before we continue, which of these reunions hit you hardest? Two old friends sharing a beer after years of lawsuits, or a punk legend calling his friend the light of his life? Drop a comment and let us know where you are watching from today.
Rocket Man, burning out his shoes off heroin.
Number 5. Elton John and Eminem.
Growing up, you gotta call me, man. I'll be the biggest fan you'll ever lose. Sincerely yours.
The 2001 Grammy Awards. Eminem was under fire from virtually every advocacy group in America. His lyrics were called dangerous. Protests were organized. Into the chaos walked a 53-year-old British knight. Elton John appeared alongside Eminem on live television to perform Stan, ending the performance with an embrace that stunned millions of viewers. It was not a stunt. It was the beginning of a genuine friendship. What the public did not know was that Elton had already been quietly mentoring Eminem behind the scenes. When Eminem later entered rehab to battle addiction to prescription pills in 2008, Elton was one of the first people he called. Eminem credited Elton with helping him stay sober, and when Elton entered his civil partnership ceremony in 2005, Eminem sent him diamond-encrusted gifts. Two men from completely different worlds had quietly built one of pop's most unlikely friendships.
But she's gone cold and wondering why I got out.
Number 4. Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page.
Honey bugs too long. No, it's just your foolish pride.
Two teenage guitar obsessives in 1960s Surrey, England. That is how one of rock's longest friendships began. Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page bonded over a shared love of blues and rockabilly. Their paths officially collided when Eric Clapton left the Yardbirds in 1965. Page was recommended as a replacement, but he suggested his friend Beck instead. When the band later needed a second guitarist, Page finally stepped in himself, and for a brief period, both men shared the same stage. Their careers diverged spectacularly after the Yardbirds dissolved. Page formed Led Zeppelin, and Beck carved out a genre-defying solo career that earned him 8 Grammy Awards. Despite decades apart, the two reunited on stage multiple times, most memorably in the late 2000s. Beck passed away in January 2023. Page called him an extraordinary guitarist and a dear friend of over 60 years. Number 3. Harry Styles and his childhood music teacher. Hundreds of concerts, thousands of screaming fans, and then a moment no one expected. During a stop on his Love on Tour run, Harry Styles paused mid-show to address one specific person in the crowd. His childhood music teacher, the woman who had first encouraged him to sing long before X Factor, long before One Direction, long before solo stardom, was sitting in the audience.
And I'm going to see if I can locate this person, if you don't mind helping me. My first ever school teacher is here tonight.
Styles spotted her and stopped everything. The footage went viral within hours. Styles, visibly emotional, thanked her in front of tens of thousands of people for believing in him when he was just a kid in Holmes Chapel, Cheshire. It was not planned. There was no backstage setup or television crew, just a global pop star in a stadium, recognizing the person who gave him his very first push. For a generation of fans, it was a reminder that the most powerful moments are completely unscripted.
This is normal.
Number 2. Dave Grohl and Paul McCartney.
Never seeing no one.
After years of admiring McCartney from afar, Grohl finally got the introduction he dreamed of at the Concert for George tribute in November 2002. A friendship slowly took root. McCartney's wife and Grohl's wife exchanged contact details. Visits followed whenever the former Beatle came to Los Angeles. The two later wrote a song together, Cut Me Some Slack, alongside Chris Novoselic and Pat Smear for the Sound City documentary, and the collaboration won a Grammy. Their public reunion came in June 2022, when Grohl joined McCartney on stage at Glastonbury. It was Grohl's first live performance since the death of Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins in March 2022. McCartney told the crowd simply, "We love you."
Don't make it bad.
Number 1. This Is Your Life.
Hello, I'm Ralph Edwards. Nice to have you with us again.
Long before social media reunions and viral concert moments, one television show was built entirely around surprising people with friends from their past. First airing on NBC in 1952, hosted by Ralph Edwards, the format was simple and devastating. A celebrity would be ambushed, handed the famous Red Book, and walked through their entire life story on live television, with old friends and long-lost colleagues appearing from behind a curtain. Musicians were among the show's most emotional subjects. Pop and rock stars who had spent years on tour would suddenly find themselves face-to-face with childhood neighbors, first bandmates, and school teachers not seen in decades. The British version, which aired from 1955 until 2003, regularly drew audiences of 20 million viewers. No algorithm, no click-through, just one door opening, and a lifetime of memories flooding back in an instant.
Oh! Oh, no! Go ahead. Oh, no! Oh.